Live from the Queen City of Cincinnati, Fox Sports Ohio brings you Cincinnati Reds baseball. Game 2 of a day-night doubleheader. Cubs and the Reds as the Reds try to march on and increase their lead in the Central Division of the National League. In game number 1, good pitching and great hitting. Xavier Paul's first home run as a Cincinnati Red ties this ball game at 2 early on. The Reds had home run baseball going. How about Todd Frazier, the hottest Red of all, bangs number 17 into the left field seats. The Reds are on their way to a lead. And Miggy finally got one, his first homer of the year. Miguel Cairo copped it off, and the end result is the Reds build up a 4-2 lead, add a run to make it 5-2, and they hang on to win it 5-3. Hi, hello, and welcome to Cincinnati, everyone. Along with the Cowboy Jeff Brantley, I'm George Grant. Combine that with some great pitching, and the Reds had a Game 1 win.
Well, they did have a Game 1 win, and they had been doing it time and time again from a different individual, it seems like, every single day. You keep talking about Joey Votto being out of the lineup, but it seems like somebody is coming either off the bench, out of the thin air, but somebody is coming and stepping up each and every day.
Brandon Phillips has filled Joey's spot. You've seen the numbers on Todd Frazier. The other guy has been Ryan Ludwick.
376 since July 21st. You start looking at where he ranks, that would be 3rd in average, 1st in home runs, 1st in RBIs. Ryan Ludwick has found his swing. Last year playing for the Padres in Petco and then at PNC Park in Pittsburgh, things didn't quite go his way. Now that he's in Cincinnati, those are the ranks I'm talking about. He is hitting the ball with authority, driving the ball the other way, and most importantly, driving in runs when it counts.
Ludwick has been a veteran presence on this Reds club and on the Chicago Cubs club. Starlin Castro has been simply superb since he burst upon the scene with a big first game, and it was here right at Great American Ballpark. And the Cubs have made him a very lucky and a very wealthy young man, signing a new deal with the Chicago Cubs that will keep him a Cub for in the vicinity of somewhere around 7 years and $60 million. He's got the big bat, he's got the big glove, he's for real.
We got to see him early, George, especially right out of the gate. And the one thing about Starlin Castro, he has all the confidence in the world. He loves the big moment. And when you are the type of player that loves the big moment, you're always going to come through when it's clutch time, and Castro is a clutch player for the Cubs.
Well, some familiar names we just talked about. Some less familiar names will be on the mound for Game 2. When we return, we'll give you the scouting report on the 2 new pitchers that'll take the mound from Cincinnati.
For the second game of the day at Great American Ballpark, I think we'll have a blend of sun and clouds for the start of the game. Temperatures have made it up into the 70s this afternoon. We'll be settling down through the 70s and eventually into the 60s for the second half of the game. Some high-level clouds will come in for the west, but I don't anticipate any rain as we play the Cubs beginning at 7 o'clock tonight. Enjoy the game and go Reds.
Thanks, Big D. Let's take a look at Todd Redmond, who will finally get his chance, Cowboy, to show what he could do. Here are his numbers from Louisville.
He is a breaking ball pitcher. We will see him pitching backwards. Breaking balls early, fastballs late.
Todd Redmond, tonight's starter, coming up. Baseball against Brooks Raley and the Chicago Cubs. It's Todd Redmond making his major league debut. 2 career starts for Raley. Coming up next, Dusty and the Reds take 2 from the Cubs. We'll find out next on Fox Sports Ohio. By the 2012 Ford F-150 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. By the Regional Tourism Network. Let us be your travel guide to Cincinnati, USA. Visit CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili. Game time is Skyline time. Stop by your favorite Skyline Chili today. Scenic view from the right field corner here at Great American Ballpark. Sellout crowd here for tonight's game. Sellout crowd tomorrow. There are some standing room only tickets available. Let's check the starting lineup for Dale Swaim, the 48-year-old manager of the Cubs in his first year. He'll shake it up a little bit in game number 2. Luis Valbuena will lead it off. He'll be the third baseman. The left-handed swinger will be batting ahead of Joe Mather, who will be in the number 2 spot. Anthony Rizzo hits third. Starling Castro in the 4th spot. Brian LaHare, the right fielder, will hit behind him. You can see they're loading it up with right-handers with left-handers against this right-handed pitcher, Redmond. Steve Clevenger will be behind the plate. Brett Jackson in center field. Adrian Cardenas will be your second baseman, and Brooks Raley, the pitcher, bats in the 9th spot. And here is Todd Redmond.
Redmond, sinking fastball. As I said, lots of breaking balls. He actually has a no-hitter in the minor leagues under his belt that actually came against the Reds when he was pitching for the Braves in Gwinnett. Came against the Reds AAA club in Louisville.
1 ball, 1 strike to Valbuena. Breaking ball down and in. We should see a few of those.
Well, that's what we're talking about. When we talk about pitching backwards, Instead of fastballs early, breaking balls late, we're going to see breaking balls early and fastballs late from Redmond.
Our Farmers Insurance report card. That's a little wide. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Valbuena. Well, Buena comes in against the Reds at 214. He had 3 hits in game number 1 of this series. We'll go full 3 and 2. Mike Everett behind the plate. Everett did not participate in game 1 as they have a 5-man umpiring rotating crew. Laz Diaz is at first, Tim Welke at second, and David Arackley's over at third. Paul Schreiber, who umpired the first game behind the plate, is off for this game too. And there's ball 4, a leadoff walk here in the first inning. Some jitters, you think, Cowboy?
You got to expect some jitters, especially here in his first ball game that he's actually on the mound. Now, this kid has been in the big leagues before. He's just never participated in the game when he's gotten called up. Got called up with the Reds twice this year, sent right back down. He was called up with the Braves before the trade was ever made to the Reds. He was up for 3 days, but he never appeared in a ball game. So he's been looking forward to this for quite some time.
And we've talked a lot about it, of course. This is the first time all year that the Reds have not started a game after 120 starts with their starting 5. Pop back behind the plate. Under it is Mesoraco, and Devin has it. 1 away. You know who's catching? That's Devin Mesoraco. Let's check your forward defensive alignment for Cincinnati. The Reds come in second in defense in the National League. Ryan Ludwick sat out the first game, pinch hit late. He's in left. Stubbs in center. Jay Bruce in right. Roland's back in the lineup. Wilson Valdez will get the start at short. Brandon and Todd Frazier on the right side of the infield, and Devin behind home plate catching Todd Redmond. That's your forward defensive alignment. So 1 away, and here's Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo overall now 292 with 9 homers and 25 knocked in. Anthony in the first game was 0 for 4. But then again, Cowboy, a lot of people were 0-fers in the first game. For those of you that weren't here with us, Johnny Cueto has been great all year. He had one of his best games today.
He really did. 8 innings of 1 mistake baseball, and it was back in the first inning, a 2-run home run on a 3-2 pitch to Alfonso Soriano. And after that, lights out.
8 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 8 strikeouts, no walks, 107 pitches for Cueto. And in the 9th inning, Aroldis Chapman came in, did give up a run. First run he had given up since Minnesota back in June.
And only the 2nd run that he has given up against a National League team. 1 against the Pirates, 1 today. Believe it or not.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Rizzo with Valbuena off first. In the dirt, good block by Mesoraco. And now in the 9th inning, the Cardinals are leading the Pirates 5-3. That was a 3-3 game. The Cardinals scored 2 to go ahead. In the 9th, top of 9 in St. Louis. Pirates batting. Swing and a miss. That's bounce back, strikeout. Rizzo retired. First strikeout, 2nd out. And here comes Starlin Castro.
Looked like he dropped down almost a low 3/4 and had a little bit more velocity there than what we saw on the ball that was down. He gets a little bit of encouragement from his catcher there as Mesoraco gives him the glove back to him.
As we say that Redmond came from AAA, it was a brief stint in AAA. He was picked up from the Atlanta organization where he's been a stalwart performer down at the AAA level for the Braves, and only spent a brief period of time, and he and Mesoraco never did match up down in AAA. Devin's been with the big club all this year. A little bigger lead for Valbuena, not going anywhere. That breaking ball misses for ball 1. Starlin Castro to the plate, the young shortstop a little bit richer on this day. Can buy a few more sunflower seeds. Agreeing to a long-term $60 million deal. 7 years, $60 million deal. That's looped over Valdez. It's a base hit. Charging from left field will be Ludwick, but it'll be first and third. That just hung up there, and it looked like Wilson Valdez might have a shot at it, but it just missed his outstretched effort, and it's first and third with 2 outs.
Starting back, you could see Valdez turning with the glove behind him. It's the only way to play that ball, but unless you're 6'5", you're not going to make that catch.
Cal Ripken might have had it, huh?
Maybe so. You talking about today, or
today too? He's still in pretty good shape. The Ripper's still in good shape. Here's Brian LeCure. A couple of homers against the Reds this year. Native of Massachusetts. Had a great first half. In fact, so good that he made the All-Star team in the National League after a career in the minor league. So he knows what Redmond has gone through. Once Rizzo came to town, his days numbered, though, as Rizzo is their first baseman of the future. From the stretch, there goes the runner. Here comes the throw. They've got a shot at him, but it won't be in time.
pretty good break by Starlin Castro. And that's the one thing that you have to do here in the big leagues. You see the big leg kick from Redmond does not give Mesoraco a whole lot of time to throw. Even though Mesoraco has a tremendous arm, you still have to give the catcher a chance.
20th stolen base of the season for Castro, who's the complete package. He's got speed, he's got defensive capabilities, and you know his offensive capabilities. He's led the league with over 200 hits in 1 year. So it's 1-2 with 2 runners now in scoring position.
Well, Redmond drops that arm down, just a slight little difference in the arm slot. Ball has a lot more bite to it. That one a little too much. But you saw the swing and miss from Rizzo on that same type of delivery. Basically the same thing that you saw from LeCure on the pitch before.
Count evens at 2-2. And we'll go full. Setting up inside, Mesoraco. This does get a piece to stay alive, and we'll try it again. Full count to LeCure.
Well, I think Mesoraco is setting up underneath the hands of LeCure because of the movement from the fastball of Redmond. If you set up on the outside corner, the ball is running off the plate. If you set up inside, the ball will run to the outside corner.
He wants it up. And LeCure protecting, fouls another one off. Dusty's been there before. He said it before the doubleheaders. It's so tough to win, too. And when you win the first one, boy, do you want the second.
Oh. Well, I know what Todd Redmond wants right here. He wants that 109th strikeout for Brian LeCure.
And it's ball 4. 8 pitches in the at bat. Now 22 pitches here in the first inning, including 2 walks and a base hit. And that'll bring up another left-handed swinger, Clevenger. Valbuena, Rizzo, LeCure, Clevenger, Jackson, Cardenas, and even the pitcher Raley, all left-handed swingers against this righty.
And George, if you think anybody on this club is surprised right now, I don't think so. It is awfully difficult when you have been waiting for this moment your whole life, and now you're 29 years old and you get the chance. 27 years old, excuse me.
He's aging 2 years after this inning. Fouled off by Clevenger for strike one. Baltimore native steps in at 280. Missing down low, and it's 1-1.
But normally for Redmond, you look back at all of his stats throughout his career in the minor leagues, he's a guy that stays around the plate. So a lot of this has to do with nerves, and they had a big adrenaline flow. For the most part, he's been ahead of every hitter. LeCure just worked him until he got a walk. Kept fouling pitches off.
Walk to Valbuena, a base hit by Castro, a walk to LeCure. They're loaded. And here's the 1-2. And it's not a surprise, knowing his repertoire. He's thrown first pitch strikes to 4 of these 5 batters, but he doesn't have that put away pitch. He's been getting ahead, unable to put someone away here in the first. 2-2. Phillips, yep, hit it to the Gold Glover. Well, he learned something. If you're going to have him hit it to anybody, hit it to number 4.
To him.
Got through the first. Good job, Todd. Let's see if the Reds can get some runs. Reds dodge a bullet in the first, leaving the bases loaded with Todd Redmond getting through inning number 1. Let's check Dusty Baker's batting order for game number 2. Drew Stubbs back in the leadoff spot. Wilson Valdez will give Kozar a breather. He'll play short, bat second. Brandon Phillips in the 3 spot. Ryan Ludwick hits cleanup. Todd Frazier behind him. Another homer from Frazier in game number 1. Jay Bruce, Scott Rowland, Devin Mesoraco, Todd Redmond. That's 1 through 9. Your Dusty Baker batting order. On the mound, another face that is not exactly a household name, but the Reds have seen Brooks Raley.
Well, they saw him the last start that he faced the Reds. He retired the first 12 batters in a row, but he ended up losing the ball game 3-0. He was matched up against Bronson Arroyo, and things didn't quite go his way.
6 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs allowed for number 43 against the Reds last time out. Studious young man, a guy who does his homework. When the Reds were taking batting practice yesterday, he was in front of the video checking out the Reds lineup. Likewise last night, and he gets the start here in game 2 of this doubleheader. Here's Drew Stubbs to lead it off. He did not start game number 1, came in as a defensive replacement in center field and made an outstanding catch of a line drive to left center, which proved to be a key as the Cubs got something going in the 9th inning. They fell 2 runs short in a 5-3 loss. That's a pop-up and out number 1.
I said that he faced Arroyo. He actually faced Cueto that day.
Final on that Bucco game now. Pirates had a chance in the 9th inning. They had the bases loaded with no one out. They did score 1, so the final is 5-3. That means right now the Pirates are 7 games back. The Cardinals 8 games back of the Reds. 5-4 is their final after trailing 5-3 going into the 9th inning. So a Reds win could give them a 7.5 game lead over Pittsburgh and an 8.5 game lead over St. Louis. Here's Wilson. Valdez playing short today. That's hit hard.
Oh my goodness. How did he catch that ball?
That's a slider that he almost stumbled over but still caught it.
He broke to his left and caught the ball backhand. Check this out. That ball had some major hook to it right there. That's very similar to the ball we saw the other night to Brandon Phillips. That was hit off of a left-hander and almost took Phillips' head off.
Phillips said it was the best knuckleball he saw all week, and that includes the knuckleballs that R.A. Dickey threw to him.
Wow, that ball was stung.
That gives you a sense of the athletic ability of Starlin Castro, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Man. Here's Brandon. Phillips steps in the 3 spot for the Reds at 288, 13 homers, 64 knocked in. Game 1 today, 0 for 4. 3 fly balls and a fielder's choice.
A lot of pitches away from Brooks Raley. Changeup, backdoor breaking ball, fastball away, and just comes in for effect.
That's number 1. Number 2, this has now become a Chicago organization under Jed Hoyer, the general manager, and Theo Epstein, the president of baseball operations, and this pitching staff, Chris Bosio, and the manager Dale Swain, that's very exacting. So they have a scouting report and they've stayed away from him. Here's a rare pitch inside, but it's going to stay in the park. Fly ball to left, hauled in, and the Reds go 1-2-3 in the first. Redmond back to the mound in a scoreless game. It's brought to you by Elkin Elk, serious lawyers for serious injuries. This is Todd Redmond pitching in the Atlanta organization, AAA Gwinnett. And what did he do? He threw a no-hitter against the Cincinnati Reds. A day that he'll never forget. A memorable day for him.
And now he's pitching for the Reds.
And a guy who made his way through the Reds clubhouse trying to find out, hey, can anybody tell me something about Todd Redmond? He was trying to track down some Reds who were part of that game. JD's with us. JD, tell us about what you found out.
There we go. George, Todd Frazier was in the lineup against Redmond on that night. Oh, here it goes again. Deep one.
Big shot to right, and that's going to be gone. Brett Jackson, who told you about his athletic ability and his power, gets his first major league home run, a big shot to right. So a special day for that young man who shows all kinds of promise. That'll give the Cubs an early 1-0 lead. Brett Jackson's first major league homer. JD, fill us in.
Well, during the game, Frazier said he couldn't believe that Redmond kept getting him out. He said, how is this guy getting me out? He doesn't throw very hard. He kept throwing this soft slider away. And he's like, this guy's not very good. How's he getting me out? And they were really mad. And then after the game realized, all right, this guy's a decent pitcher. He feels much better about him now as Redmond's gotten more experience in AAA and now making his big league debut, and he'll have to rebound after that home run. Seems like every time I speak today, someone hits a home run.
Yeah, we like the ones that the Reds hit better.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll bring you back when the Reds come up.
You got it.
Thanks, JD. Here's Adrian Cardenas, the second baseman.
I will say this, George. I don't care if you throw a no-hitter in Little League. You've done something that a lot of people can't do.
Popped up left side, Wilson Valdez there. He's got it out number 1.
14 years in the big leagues. I didn't have a no-hitter in Little League. 12-year-old all-stars, college, minor leagues, nothing.
Did you see that pitcher from Japan, 6'1" pitching this week?
Oh yeah. Slinging it.
Oh. And if you extrapolate the distance, the velocity, he's throwing like at 102 miles an hour. Out there. Little League World Series in Pennsylvania underway, and you know Todd Frazier's story there. He still says it was one of the most enjoyable times of his life, and still cherishes the memories, and still has friends who are on that team and friends who played on opposite teams during that Little League World Series. There's a rocket through the infield. And Brooks Raley has a base hit. That'll be his first hit too. So the first homer for Brett Jackson and the first base hit for Brooks Raley. This is an inning that Todd's giving out some gifts.
Well, he is getting the ball back down in the strike zone. You're not going to be able to live up where he was in the first inning long either way. You get the ball back down, at least those ground balls people have a chance to catch.
1 out, 1 on, back to the top of the order. Luis Valbuena, who walked last inning. Swing and a miss. Valbuena did pinch hit in game number 1 against Cueto. That was in the 8th inning. And he lined out to center field. Told you about the Cardinal win 5-4 over Pittsburgh. In the second inning, Atlanta leads Houston 1-0. In the second, Philadelphia leads Milwaukee 3-0. In the second, scoreless, Mets at Washington. And in the second, Atlanta leads LA 1-0. Towards the corner and right. Bruce will track it down. Rounding second, holding there will be the pitcher, and it'll be first and second with one out.
Well, the one thing for Todd Redmond that I can see already, George, is when he falls off to the first base side, very similar to what we saw from Johnny Cueto back in his early days when he first came to the big leagues. You fall to the first base side, your hand gets away from your head, and you get underneath your breaking ball, and the ball just spins. Same thing happens with your fastball. When your hand gets away from your head, you get flat, and the ball just runs away. Here's the motion of Redmond right there, and you can see him getting underneath that breaking ball, and you could almost see him already turning towards the first baseline before he even let go of the ball.
Infield double play depth for the Reds as Mather comes to the plate. He popped to the catcher first time up.
Such a fine line between releasing the ball and then falling, or falling before you release the ball.
Good pitch, good spot, and it's 0-2.
When he gets a good extension to the plate, he has decent location. When he lets go of the ball too early, that's when the ball gets up and gets hit.
They'll get one. They could have had two. Well, they'll get it out, but there'll be runners at second and third. If he feels it cleanly, he's got a good chance to turn two.
He did have the presence of mind to check second base before he did throw to first base, as you see him look back just ever for a second.
And here's Rizzo. Anthony struck out first time up. Second and third. Two away now. The Cubs, after the Brett Jackson homer, lead at 1-0. American League, one game earlier today that concluded early. That was Texas beating Toronto 2-1. And the game at Yankee Stadium now over 2. Boston beat New York 4-1. Big swing, 1-1. Tonight, Kansas City leads the White Sox 1-0 in the second. Baltimore and Detroit scoreless in the second. Everything else to come later.
That pitch up and about middle away to Rizzo. It looks like he's swinging underneath that pitch.
Again.
Same thing. And you see where he holds his hands. He's trying to hold his hands just below his number on the left side. And the reason that he holds it there is to try to relax his hands, but he's still swinging at that high pitch.
Two pitches in the first inning. 49 pitches for the game already for Redmond. 2-2. Center field, but it'll stay in the park. Stubbs under it.
Got under that one.
He's got it. Well, he's dancing the tightrope. Did give up the homer to Brett Jackson, his first. It's 1-0 Cubs. your party or group outing, call Reds Group Sales at 513-765-7600 or visit reds.com. That's Jesse's favorite spot.
Well, you never know when Votto or maybe Todd Frazier will hit you a ball up there. They're the only ones I've seen reach it.
Adam Dunn, Willie Mo Pena, batting practice. That was
talking game time.
Yep.
Game time.
Brian Price chatting with Todd Redmond and Mike Leake next to him, trying to nurse him through. And obviously you'd love to see him throw a Johnny Cueto 8-inning performance, but Cowboy, the reality of it is keep us in the game.
Right. And you can see Brian Price, by rolling his hand forward, is trying to get Redmond to pick up the pace a little bit, work quicker, get into a rhythm. That way your location gets better and you don't have to work so hard on each pitch.
Ryan Ludwick going back, gonna be gone. One swing, gotcha. And he just keeps getting it done, doesn't he, Cowboy?
Well, we talked about how good he's been since July 21st, and it looks like he's just wants to keep on keeping on. This ball is supposed to be down and away. It ends up down and in, and we saw what he did with a down and in pitch yesterday, and he does the same thing with it today. Parked it.
24 homers, 67 knocked in. And just like that, we're even Steven again, tied at 1. Ryan sat out the first game, did pinch hit late in the game. Here's Todd Frazier. In the first game, Frazier had 3 more good at bats in 4 plate appearances, a single, a homer, and a sacrifice fly. Todd?
It's amazing to me, George, what you find out about your team when you lose your best player. When you ask players to step up, literally step up and keep us in a spot where we're in first place. And man, it has happened, and it happens. It's happening every day.
Frazier to center. That's going to stay in the park. Jackson has it, and there's one away. While you're looking at Brett Jackson out in center field, let's show you the defense for the Chicago Cubs. Joe Mathers in left, Jackson great speed in center, Brian LeHair's over in right. Valbuena back at third, Castro and Cardenas the double play combo, and Anthony Rizzo at first. The left-handed swinging Steve Clevenger is behind the plate for Brooks Raley. Cubs 9th in the league in defense. 10 more errors than the Reds on the season. Here's Jay, the Beaumont, Texas native. A couple of homers against the Cubs thus far this year. Hops to the left side. And foul territory. Valbuena has it. And there's 2 away. Now you find out, you're right, Cowboy, when you say, it's amazing when you put the pressure on. Sometimes you find out what teams and players can't do. But for the Reds, what they found out this year when Joey Votto and when Scott Rowland went down, they found out what guys like Ryan Ludwick could do. And when it's been positive, positive, positive.
I mean, Rowland, since the All-Star break, is hitting .364, .373 in his last 18 games. Now, to me, I don't know. I think that you talk so much about, well, fumbling under pressure or not handling the pressure. This club has gone from not driving in runs to driving in every run they get a chance to drive in. Now, I know those things come in streaks and they come in different ways and fashions and forms, but to me, I think it's an exciting thing that's going on right now, and looking forward to having Votto back in the lineup and Then let's see what happens with the offense, because you got a lot of guys with a lot of confidence right now. And you know as well as I do, George, hitting and confidence breeds success.
Now, this team experienced a lot of positive things in 2010. We talked about it last year. They learned a lot in early 2011 that they're taking to the bank this year. They learned what they didn't do right in 2011, that you're not guaranteed you're going to be good again.
Right. You got to keep working at it.
They're working at it. Nobody harder than Ryan Ludwick. Homer for Ludwick, 24th of the year, 67 knocked in. We're tied at 1. And later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Fox Sports Ohio has brought you the Reds for years. Now it's time for us to bring you to the Reds. For more information on how you and your group can get on the Fox Sports Ohio Fan Express to Reds Country, call 513-765-7600 or visit reds.com/fan express. That's what you need, Jess. You need that bus to keep all your stuff. And this small trunk of a car just not big enough.
I thought that was a train. Come on, ride the train.
That's a post-game song.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Here's Castro, pops it up in the left. There to haul it in is Ryan Ludwick. Castro single first time up, retired here on the fly ball.
Had him lunging twice. This time he gets a little bit more of it, enough to where Ludwick can catch it.
That'll bring up Brian LaHare. A good quick first out for Todd Redmond. In the first, Redmond walked 2, gave up a base hit, but got out of the jam, a bases loaded jam, by getting Clevenger to bounce out. In the second, leadoff homer from Jackson and 2 other hits. So he's been dancing the tightrope already through these first 2+. And you can read all the scouting reports or work on the side with a pitcher, as Brian Price has. It's not till you see him under fire that you can sit and really talk with him about, this is what you're doing. Duel. Four wide ones, and there's another walk. Third walk of the game so far. 1 out, 1 on, and here's Clevenger. Final of the series tomorrow. We'll be on the air with Reds Live at 12:30. The game will follow. Matt Latos will go for his 11th. Chris Volstad will go for his first win for the Cubs. Sellout crowd tonight and sellout tomorrow as well. There are standing room seats available for tomorrow's game. Good to see the place packed and with a lot of red. And that's 5 straight wide ones. So out will Mesoraco go to talk to his right-hander.
Just appears that he's getting down on the side, almost dropping his elbow on each and every pitch that is coming to the plate. And when you start dropping that elbow, as I was saying in the inning before, you really start opening that back hip way too soon.
That's wide to Clevenger, and it's 6 straight wide ones, and it's 2-0. Brett Jackson, who homered last inning, is on deck.
A little bit better pitch there. You can see the knee coming up. The front shoulder really turns close to begin with, but see how it opens very quickly, and you can see that elbow really drop down, and the whole body falls to the left of the picture. And when that happens, that means you're falling off the line that's directly towards the plate. That causes some issues.
Runner going. Not in time, stolen base.
And these Cubs are going to run all night unless Redmond can speed the ball up to home plate. Another high leg kick, and you're not going to give even Mesoraco a chance to throw the ball. See the high leg kick there? That is way too high for a big league base runner. I don't care if it's Brian LeCure or if it's the slowest man on earth.
And it's back-to-back walks. And that'll get Brian Price out. As Jackson comes to the plate.
Well, you just got to give him a chance to get himself a breather here, get him back in the right frame of mind. Sometimes when you get out there and things start to go downhill the wrong way, you start feeling that pressure again like you felt in the first inning, and that's not how you want your guy to feel. We saw Mesoraco go out and try to help him a little bit. It didn't help at all. He continued to leave the ball away from to the arm side, which is away from a bunch of left-handers that they have in this lineup, and he's going to keep seeing left-handers.
He's got a pretty good young one coming up here. Jackson homered, his first major league homer last time up. Brett just turned 24 this month, native of California. I mean, not exactly a stereotype, but there is a similarity between his swing and Josh Hamilton's swing as you watch it. A long way to go to be what Josh was, but he's got that kind of raw, unique ability.
Buggy whip.
No balls, 1 strike. Member of Team USA for USA Baseball for 2 years, so he's had international experience. Maybe young, he was rated as the top prospect in the Cubs organization prior to this year, and we've told you, if you've been with us in the series, he's prone to the strikeout.
And a lot of that is lack of knowledge of the strike zone for right now. And we see the balls that he's chasing. They are way up in the strike zone. And when you talk about Josh Hamilton's swing, Josh Hamilton has a long swing, but he's a very strong young man. You can have a long swing if you're strong and get it there quick.
1-2. That's why. Jackson has struck out more than 40% of the time he's been to the plate as a major leaguer.
Twenty strikeouts in 11 games this year coming into this ball game.
2-2. Got him. Top end of the strike zone. It looked like Jackson just gave up on him. Borderline yes, but a strike yes too.
Well, this is what Mesoraco has wanted from the beginning. Start the ball at the hip and let it run back over the heart of the plate, and that's exactly what this pitch does. And Mesoraco does a good job of keeping the ball below his mask. If that ball's above the mask, it's ball 3.
First strikeout for Redmond comes at an opportune time.
Now all you need is a ground ball and get out of here.
Here's Cardenas, who popped a short first time up. That's a strike. His 2 best fastballs of the night, the last 2 he delivered.
Well, he's starting to get out there a little bit and finish the pitch. Drive the ball to the plate. That's now 3 in a row.
90 miles an hour on that one.
A lot of guys that'll tell you try to stay on that back leg as long as you can. I don't care if you're a sinker ball pitcher, how you do it. So anytime that you try to overthrow or try to make a pitch too good, you cut it off. That means no stride, no drive to the plate.
Hooked down the line, but foul and into the seats. 1-2. Two walks in the inning, one to Brian LeCure, the other to Steve Clevenger, put 2 on. And with 2 out, Redmond to the stretch. Should get him out of it. Scott Rowland calling. Got it.
Good comeback.
Strikeout, pop up, gets out of the 2 base runner jam. They've stranded 7. We're tied at 1. 24th. Kick off your weekend with another Free Agent Friday presented by Toby Keith's. I love this bar and grill. Johnny Rockets, Moorline Lager House, and the Holy Grail and Grill. Pre-game, enjoy drink specials, DJ Saab on the Carpetland Music Stage, and more in the fan zone. Then cheer on your Reds when they take on the Cardinals. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or reds.com today. Here's Devin Mesoraco trying to get it rolling for the Reds as we go to the bottom of 3. He joined us late. Todd Redmond really danced the tightrope the first 2 innings. So far, through 3, he has stranded 7 base runners. The 1 run that's on the board, Brett Jackson's first major league homer. Ryan Ludwick led off the second with his 24th homer of the year, and we're tied at 1. Here's Devin, Redmond to follow. Oh, we've had 2 firsts already. Maybe Redmond can get his first hit too.
Maybe it'll be a homer.
Wouldn't be bad.
He's a big old boy.
And all you pitchers like to talk about your hits forever and ever and ever and amen, huh?
I never got a home run.
You remember your first hit?
Yeah, my first at bat. My first swing, as a matter of fact.
Take us through it.
Ball 1, ball 2, both curve balls. So I figure he's got to throw me a fastball.
Broken bat. Rizzo has it, 1 away.
As the ball came out of his hand, I closed my eyes, swung as hard as I could, and it ended up halfway between the left fielder and the shortstop.
It was off.
Brian Holton, Holton. He is not in the Hall of Fame.
Well, here's Todd trying to duplicate your feat. 1 away. Of all the pitching hitting stories, and my favorite is Hoyt Wilhelm, who homered in his first major league at bat. Never got another one again through a lengthy career.
Wow.
Lefty Gomez always used to tell the story that he was close with Joe DiMaggio, of course, and Babe Ruth. He used to bet the Babe about a season long. Babe said that there's no doubt in his mind that he wouldn't get 4 hits all year. And 1 year he got 2 hits in his first game, never got another hit for the next year. The whole year. The whole year.
Ouch.
Redmond retired. Raley picks up his first strikeout. And back to the top of the order, Drew Stubbs.
Well, Brooks Raley is basically pitching the same exact way that he went about his business the first time he faced the Reds. Away, away, away. If he's inside, it's by mistake. That is his pitch right there. Fastball. Step towards the first base on deck circle and bring it to the outside corner.
Down to third, backhanded by Valbuena. And the Reds go quietly 1-2-3 in the third. Heading to the fourth, Raley, who got his first major league hit last time, will be up first. Question of the night. Who was the last Reds pitcher to win in his major league debut? Last Reds pitcher to win in his major league debut. Of course, this has been a last couple of years the Reds have seen a lot of young pitchers. This year there have been fewer of them, and if you're a Reds fan, you know full well that when Johnny Cueto won in Game 1 of this doubleheader, that marked the 120th consecutive start for the Reds with their starting 5 starters. This is the first time all year that the Reds have not used one of their 5 starters. Line drive. Wilson Valdez hauls it in. Raley retired. Hey, 2 pretty good swings from Raley.
No doubt. Likes that ball out over the plate, that's for sure.
The next question was, do you still have the baseball from your first hit?
Oh, yeah.
Where is it? Is it in a box somewhere? Or is it, you got it on? It's displayed?
Yes, it is.
What's your most prized possession from your career?
I don't know, probably a toss-up between All-Star Game and Roll Age Relief Award. Both of them.
What did you keep from the All-Star Game memorabilia that you were given? You're given a whole bunch of stuff.
They gave us so much stuff.
Roll Age, you got to have a pretty big mantle to put that on.
Yeah. Yeah, that big Fireman's Trophy is rather large. But
it's not something you put on your night table.
No, it's not a piece of jewelry, that's for sure.
Mason hasn't gotten to that yet.
He ain't gonna get to it either.
No dents in it.
No, it's too high for him to get to. And it's not a climbable piece of furniture.
Yeah, knowing Mason, he's taken after you. I have a feeling he'll find a way to climb that.
He ain't getting it. But back then, they made portraits that were oil paintings of your baseball cards, and I don't know how they do that. And I guess it's just being an artist, you're able to do that. They gave us rings. They sized us for rings from the All-Star Game. They gave us panoramic portraits of Wrigley Field, because that was the first All-Star Game at night at Wrigley, which was pretty cool. And of course, between Nike and Mizuno, you couldn't ask for more stuff than they did for you.
Valbuena's on for the 3rd time. He walked in the first, singled in the second, and now walks here in the 4th. Don't forget, come to the Reds Day for more fun. Visit the new Cat Canyon exhibit at Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden. Make it a weekend getaway and book your stay at Cincinnati, USA. The good news about going to Wrigley for the All-Star Game is the history and the tradition. The bad news was you had to jam all those guys in the smallest clubhouse in the world, huh?
It was crazy. The only benefit that we had is that the National League was in the home clubhouse, which is bigger than the visitors clubhouse.
Or less small.
Yeah. The only problem that I had is my locker was right by Benito Santiago's.
Oh, boy.
And I had just broken his arm 3 days before the All-Star Game. So Kevin Mitchell had a dozen roses sitting in his chair, took the card out of it, put it in the chair of Santiago, and rewrote the card to Benny.
From Cowboy.
Sorry, JB. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Sorry, JB. Santiago didn't even know who JB was until somebody came and explained it to him.
It was probably Mitch. 1 ball, 1 strike to Joe Mather. Popped up, rounded back to the pitcher.
I also had a bruise on my left leg the size of a football from where Andre Dawson had hit me about 2 weeks before that, it was still there.
Big swing 1 and 2. And you mentioned Kevin Mitchell, and in your career, I mean, you talk about learning from hitters as a pitcher. He may have been one of the smartest hitters I was ever around.
He did not give away at bats, and very similar to Will Clark, who was our first baseman. They just didn't give away pitches. They didn't give away at bats, and when they were in the dugout, there wasn't a whole lot of playing around. I mean, well, there was no playing around basically, and especially around those two guys. They paid attention to what was going on.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Off the end of the bat. They won't get 2 out of this. They're trying to get 1, and they won't. Thrown away. Phillips will track it down. They got a shot for the runner at second, and that won't work. They should have had 1. They end up with none. And let's see if Brandon's okay. He spun around and an off balance wheeling throw tried to get the ball to second. It looked like when he landed on his right wrist.
A mess of a play, that's for sure. Frazier tries to catch it barehanded. Phillips hustling all the way. And as Phillips gets to the baseball, you can see him checking him out. The runner from out of the corner of his eye. But as he fell straight back, and he put his throwing hand down to brace his fall. Probably just bent his wrist back all the way.
Still trying to stretch it out and move it around. So now it's second and third with 1 out. And here comes Anthony Rizzo. Struck out, fly to center.
And that one little swinging bunt goes back to what hitting coaches talk about and managers all the time. Make contact, put pressure on the defense. You never know what's going to happen.
That's going to get 1 in. Here comes Bruce charging. They'll hold the runner. Well, the Cubs will take a 2-1 lead on a run scoring base hit from Anthony Rizzo. 26 runs batted in for Rizzo now.
Rizzo really gets on top of that ball. You can see Mesoraco reaching up. They wanted that ball up in the zone. That's exactly where they got it. But this time, instead of swinging underneath the baseball, Rizzo is on top and tomahawks it into right field for not only a base hit but an RBI as well.
We suspected coming into tonight, Cowboy, that they're hoping for 5 innings. Well, they're within distance of that. They're in the 4th, so they're not going to take any chances. They're starting to get some action in the bullpen now for the Reds.
Well, Alfredo Simon will begin to throw, and if you've been watching the Reds at all, there has not been a whole lot of action in that Reds bullpen. They have not had a chance to throw a whole lot. Now the back end guys have, as far as Chapman, Broxton, Andrusic, Marshall every once in a while, but really Andrusic and Marshall really haven't thrown that much lately.
And now you're going into the teeth of this order with Rizzo, now Castro here. Starlin single to left and fly to left. First and third, 1 out. Reds double play depth, middle of the infield. Very difficult to double up Castro, who runs well.
Well, the one issue with Castro is the fact that he hits the ball so hard sometimes that he forces the double play ball.
2-0.
You hit that one hopper up the box and you end up in the double play category whether you like it or not. He's gotten 10 so far. That's second on their club to Soriano.
2-1.
But the one thing that you can count on with Castro, the only way you're going to walk him is bouncing the ball up there, or throwing it so far over his head that he can't get the bat to it. He has 22 walks and 474 at bats. He's swinging.
Drilled towards the corner. That will get 1 in, and maybe 2 if they don't get it back fast. Here comes the throw to Valdez. It's a double for Castro. His 17th of the season, and it's a run added on. It's a 3-1 lead for the Cubs.
Hanging breaking ball right over the heart of the plate, and those don't usually come back. This one does come back, but it comes back off the wall and left field right down the line, and I think that's all we're going to see of Todd Redmond for this night.
Now Dusty's on his way out, so Redmond, with 1 out here in the 4th inning, will exit behind 3-1 with runners at 2nd and 3rd. So he finally will make his debut as a Red, hoping that his teammates can rally and get things back on the smiling side. Redmond gets a nice round of applause. He exits. Time for our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. Who was the last Reds pitcher to win his major league debut? Should get this if you're a Reds fan. He's on the roster right now.
Oh, Sammy boy.
Sudden Sam. May of 2010 for the Reds.
New pitcher for the Reds is not Sam LeCure, but instead it is Alfredo Simon. Simon will come on for the 27th time, a 2.20 earned run average, 2-1 on the year. 45 innings, 44 hits, and he'll be doing the best he can to hold the fort.
Simon going to work facing Brian LeCure. LeCure with 1 out, runners at 2nd and 3rd. LeCure walked first time up, walked second time up, and stole a base. Down the line and left, it'll be in the seats.
This is one guy for the Reds that has really done a phenomenal job since being picked up off waivers from The Baltimore Orioles right at the end of spring training, right at the start of the season. Yeah, it cost Todd Frazier a roster spot right out of the gate. But he has proven his worth.
Popped up. No room for Mesoraco. It'll be in the seats. And we talk about how the Reds, not just conditioning, but their mental conditioning as well, has changed dramatically in the last couple of years. And the program that Simon has been in since coming over here, he's a better athlete than he was when he first came over here.
Well, not only that, but he's learned a lot more about pitching. He's commanding the breaking ball much better. I think he has learned that he has an awfully good fastball, and that is his best pitch. And you use it on both sides of the plate. You use it where he just threw it right up underneath the hands of a left-hander, and you can sink it down and away from a lefty or down and into a righty.
Reds training staff has really pushed him to lose some weight, be more athletic. There's a bouncer. They're going to come to the plate. The throw will not be in time. The slide will get to the plate. Frazier's throw to the foul side of home plate, and they can't make the tag on the runner, so they don't get it out and give up a run.
If you come home there, you've got to make the perfect throw, and as you said, George, that throw was on the first base dugout side of home plate, and it was a long reach for Mesoraco to get to the baseball and even catch the ball, much less get spun around in time to make the tag.
A good throw gets the runner.
No doubt.
So it's 4-1 now. And now it's first and third, still only one out. Man, here's Clevenger up for the third time. A fielder's choice and a walk. Phillips, can they turn this into two? Yes, they do.
Boy, Valdez has got some kind of quick hands. Wow.
Good flip, good turn. Reds out of the inning, but not before the Cubs take a 4-1 lead. being brought to you by JTM Food Group, creating great dishes together with the food service industry for over 30 years. By your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. For over 30 Toyota offers available now, visit buyatoyota.com, including mobile. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Hey, Reds fans, if a Reds home run hits that sign, the Toyota sign during today's game, Melissa Mitchell from Crescent Springs, Kentucky, will win this beautiful new Tundra on display at Great American Ballpark. Register for your chance to win at an upcoming game by seeing your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Reds have some work to do. Second time out. Brooks Raley's pitching well against the Reds. Last time he faced off against Johnny Cueto was on the short end. Here he's allowed the Reds only one hit. That was a long ball from the Reds left fielder Ryan Ludwick. That tied the game at 1 back in the second, but the 3 runs in the fourth, that's given the Cubs a 4-1 lead. Valdez, Phillips, and Ludwick due up here in the fourth. You talk about all those that have been a part of this Reds march, and Wilson gets the worst of that off his leg. But wherever you put Wilson Valdez, I mean, he's played third, second, short, even played center field in New York against the Mets. He's done well.
This ball looks like it comes off of his back knee. And you can feel that all the way down into your foot. Hits that nerve that runs down the side of your leg, and it feels like your foot is numb.
It's coming right back in there, down and in. Swing and a miss. Wilson lined out first time up. Strikes out here. Second strikeout for Raley, 1 away. Here comes Brandon.
We'll say this about Wilson Valdez, and we saw it on the turn of that double play. He has some of the quickest hands I've seen in the big leagues as far as turning the double play. It's almost as though the ball does not even touch his glove. It is in and out in a hurry. That's not even really a double play ball, but because of how quick the ball is in and out of his hands, I mean, that's in slow motion and that's fast.
You're right. Strike 1 to Brandon. Broken bat. Boy, the lumber's been shattering today. 2 away.
Backdoor cutter. Phillips looking to go that way, but the ball stops at the outside corner and doesn't get back over the plate.
Our Exmo replay, courtesy of Performance Honda. Great shot with the Exmo replay from center field this weekend. We've gotten some tremendous looks at some key plays.
Well, those changeups from Cueto in game number 1 were phenomenal.
And for those of you that missed game number 1, a little later on, we'll show you a couple of the highlights from it. Hope you're watching Reds Live with Jim Day, Jeff LeCure before the game for a recapitulation of Cueto's 8 innings, 3 hits, 2 run, 8 strikeout, no walk performance. He was brilliant. The offense in the first game provided by Xavier Paul, who followed a Frazier base hit with a home run in the second to tie the game at 2. Todd Frazier homered to give the Reds a 3-2 lead in the fourth. Miguel Cairo made it 4-2 later in the fourth. Reds got their 5th run on a sacrifice fly from Frazier in the 8th. And they won at 5-3. Ludwick's homer, the one run the Reds have on the board in game 2. And if you just joined us, the Cardinals have won in their game with the Buccos 5-4. Pittsburgh threatened in the 9th, trailing 5-3. They had the bases loaded, got 1 run in, but the Cardinals held on for the 5-4 victory. That's up high, ball 4. Pirates had their chances late with the bags loaded. Tricky hop. They'll get the final out, and the Redbirds hold on. High 5 Jason Mott and Yadi Molina. So right now the Pirates are 7 games back. The Cardinals 8 games back. And the Reds are hoping to add another half game to both of those tallies.
Now we're starting to see almost the same thing that happened to Raley in the game in Chicago. After he had gone through the lineup one time, he got towards the middle of the lineup. He had retired 12 in a row. And when he came out for the 5th inning, his location left him. Ball started getting up on him, and he started getting behind in the count and started getting hit.
Breaking ball on the outside corner to Todd Frazier. Frazier fly to center first time up. Pop back and out of play, 1-2. You saw Dale Swaim, the manager of the Chicago Cubs team, and some wondered where was the connection. Well, Dale was a third base coach in Boston when Theo Epstein was there as the general manager. Jed Hoyer was there. Now Jed's the general manager in Chicago. Theo's the vice president for baseball operations. And it's safe to say that of the people that Theo had in Boston, John Farrell was probably at the top of the list, and Dale was number 2 in terms of baseball intelligence. Did he get him? Yes, he did. So the Reds trying to get something going in the 4th, leave a runner stranded. They're trailing at 4-1 going to the 5th. May of '97, Barry's hitting skills on full display. He reached base in 13 consecutive plate appearances. Streak fell just 1 plate appearance shy of the National League record, 3 shy of Ted Williams' modern day record. He was spraying line drives everywhere as the West Coast teams came in, San Diego and L.A. Saw the last one off Fernando.
Some sweet unis right there, boys.
Yep.
Sweet unis.
Barry, of course, will be honored. 11 days of Larkin, moment number 8. Boy, you could do a 365 days of Larkin in my book.
Yeah.
What was the most unique thing about Barry Larkin as a teammate of his and someone who played with him, played against him?
You know, from my perspective, he always knew where to be and when to be there. Now, that means on the field and off the field. And if there was a place or a person that needed somebody to come to them, whether they were not doing what they were supposed to do, or maybe they needed somebody to kind of pick them up a little bit, he knew when to go there and when not to go. And when he was on the field of play, I don't think he was ever out of position. He was always in the right spot, and he made sure that the other guys were the same way. And that's one of the reasons that he had that C on his jersey, because he was not just the captain on the field, he was the captain off the field as well.
Swing and a miss. Jackson's retired. He has a homer, but he is struck out twice. Simon gets the strikeout. That's strikeout number 1 for him. I mean, on the field, every year John Kunster and Baseball Digest always came out with that smartest player in baseball article every year, and it was always Barry Larkin and Ozzie Smith, the 2 smartest players in the game. Not only were they great athletes, but they were always in the right place, always doing the right thing, much like we talked about Derek Jeter last night, out of the same mold. And you can look at the numbers, and certainly they're Hall of Fame numbers, but those numbers pale in comparison to what he was in the clubhouse and on the field. It just was a consummate leader.
Totally agree with that.
Here's Cardenas. Loops it into right center. That'll drop for a hit. Adrian Cardenas on, 1 out, 1 out. I remember when we were celebrating the 10th anniversary of the 1990 championship, and I asked Lou Piniella about Barry Larkin, and he talked about all his attributes as a hitter and as a defender and so on and so forth. And he looked, he had a little wink in his eye. He said, and you know, if I ever had a problem with anybody on the ball club or in the clubhouse, all I had to do was whisper in Barry's ear, and that problem went away.
That's how it works. And you know, we were talking, you and I were both talking about that during game 1, talking about leadership and what the Cubs are looking for, what the Reds have, and really what any young team is looking for. They're looking for a Barry Larkin somewhere down the line, somebody that can help their young players grow up and learn to play the game the right way and learn how to conduct themselves off the field as well as on.
1 ball, 1 strike. Very few players have made the effort and gone the extra mile. Barry was one of them, to make new players comfortable in his clubhouse, and this always was his clubhouse. Here's a 1-1. John Bunt fouled off 1 and 2, and the most striking, maybe obvious, but not to some, was he didn't know any Spanish. He learned Spanish because he knew as soon as he became a professional ball player and he showed up for rookie ball that more than half his team were Spanish speaking, didn't know English. So he learned Spanish, and a young Spanish speaking player would come into the Reds clubhouse, and here comes the best player, the captain, coming up to you, speaking your language and welcoming you. Popped up, rolling there. And I give the Reds credit. Not all teams have done it, but under Walt Jocketty, Jeff Rappe has put together a program helping English players learn Spanish using Rosetta Stone and helping Spanish players learn English. And you talk about it, you said it earlier, it's all about communication, whether it's pitcher, catcher, or whatever, but it's about communication as a teammate, too.
Right. I don't care what sport you're in. If you're not communicating with each other in some way, fashion, or form, you're not going to be successful.
So they can't get the sacrifice down back to the top of the order. With 2 away, the runner's still at first. Valbuena, walk, single, walk. And the other part that has really nothing to do with baseball is that Barry's mom and dad raised a wonderful family. Not just Barry, but the whole family. I mean, talk about the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Quality. Pretty neat hats, too, huh?
Yeah, I like the hats. Not everybody likes the hats, do they? I love them. I think they're pretty cool. Home hats, away hats, day game hats.
There's a 2-1. Bruce going back. Will he get there? He won't. One hop over his head. Pretty good speed in Cardenas. They're going to send him, and he will score. He got the hand in. He was motoring from the crack of the bat. Give Cardenas credit there. And the Cubs play add-on and lead it 5-1.
That's not where Mesoraco wanted that ball. He wanted it down and away, and that ball ended up in the heart of the plate. It was hit pretty hard, just out of the reach of Jay Bruce. Valdez did a pretty good job to make the throw to home plate from where he took the ball from Jay Bruce.
This throw gave them a chance. I didn't think they had a chance to make the play close. So Valbuena, who had 3 hits in the first game of this series, 2 more hits today, 2 walks, a single and a double, and the run batted in makes it 5-1. And here's Joe Mather up for the 4th time. He popped up, bounced to the pitcher, reached on an infield hit, went to second on an error. Another runner in scoring position with 2 outs is Valbuena.
This Reds bullpen has normally been very good at stopping the bleeding. If the starter has had to come out of the game early, they've been able to hold the fort.
That's the strike that he wanted. He finally gets it on Mather. But the Cubs play add-on, a 1-out base hit and a double. It's 5-1 Chicago. All over the state. You can check out his reports from all the training camps, plus college football's right around the corner, and find out where your favorite team is in the AP preseason poll. That's all right at your fingertips at foxsportsohio.com. Brooks Raley has held the Reds in check thus far. A run on one hit, that was a home run to lead off the second from Ryan Ludwick. Here's Jay Bruce for the second time. Hopped out to third first time up. Bruce, Roland, Mesoraco due up. Foul past Billy Hatcher, encamped as usual in the first base coach's box, and as usual Mark Berry down at third for the Reds.
This is the perfect inning to start a rally from the Red standpoint, because you know Dale Swaim wants to leave his starter out there to try to pick up a win. Maybe he'll leave him out there just a little too long. It's like you and I were talking about last night. Closer in that ninth inning. I guess out of the bullpen, the ninth inning is the toughest. From a starting standpoint, when you have the lead, you want to get through that fifth inning. And I guarantee you Brooks Raley is feeling it right now.
2-2.
He wants to feel that first big league victory.
Managed the pitch count well so far. Liner, base hit. Good start. Bruce leadoff base hit. Here comes Roland. Got fly to center his first time up. Wide for a ball, and it's 1-0, and Clevenger will go out and try to settle down his lefty. Tomorrow, the final of the series. Matt Latos will go for his 11th win against Chris Bolstad. We've talked about everybody in this rotation today, Cowboy, except Matt, and talk about a guy in the second half. Yeah, some of the offensive performers have picked it up in the second half, but ever since that outing in Cleveland, he's been a different pitcher.
I would say so. You look back at Latos's numbers from April. You take those out, and boy, you got some kind of pitcher with some kind of ERA. He has turned it up since that beginning month came to an end. Things are starting to slip away from Mr. Raley at this point. Going through his mind, all I've got to do is get through this inning, and I've got a chance to get a win.
Ball 4. Base hit and a walk.
But I'm not looking too good of getting through this inning right now.
Valbuena and Rizzo both come over to talk to the youngster. And here comes Devin Mesoraco, who hit a shot down to the first baseman Rizzo first time up.
The thing for Mesoraco here, as you saw with Scott Rowland ahead of him, He has got to have some patience here and not swing at something that's way out of the strike zone.
Mesoraco hitting 8th in today's lineup. The pitcher spot due up next, and Chris Heisey's moved into the on-deck circle. And as he does, Sam LeCure starts to loosen in the bullpen for the Reds. Breaking ball in there for a strike. Who started it with a base hit to right. Roland's walk has put 2 on. As the Reds trail by 4, 5-1 here in the 5th.
Well, if you get a base hit here or you get Mesoraco aboard, you will apply the pressure of the proverbial elephant on the shoulders of one Brooks Raley.
There's a 1-1. Line to right. Right at the right fielder, though. Tagging at second, going to third will be Bruce, so it's first and third with 1 out.
Mazda pitch by pitch for Devin Mesoraco. First pitch, let's just get it over the plate for a strike. The next one way inside because I know I'm going down and away on the next one. And Mesoraco hit it right on the screws, but he hit it right to the right fielder, LeCure. If that ball's a few feet left or right, it's maybe headed for the wall, and runners take your mark, get set, and go.
So here's Heisey pinch hitting for Simon, who goes an inning and a third. 2 hits and 1 run. Fastball on the inside corner for strike 1. Heisey started game number 1. Hit second, was hit by a pitch in the first inning. Had a 1-for-3 afternoon, striking out twice and a base hit. Coming in on him again.
Huge hole on the right side of the infield with Rizzo holding on the runner.
Drive, that's a base hit. That'll get a run in. Roland will stop at second. Mather slipped, but got his feet back under him again, and Roland held at second.
Now the conversation begins in the Cubs dugout. What do we do now? Tried to get the ball away, an off-speed pitch. Heisey stayed on it. The ball got over the heart of the plate. He didn't kill it, but he hit it good enough. And Del Swain is going to the phone right now. And you can see Chris Bosio, boy, he's really sprinting out to the mound in a hurry, isn't he?
How do you buy time?
Drag your feet as you walk out to the mound.
Well, for Boz, he might be sprinting.
Yeah.
Bosio, former minor league pitching coach for the Reds. Former advanced scout as well. Pitched in Milwaukee and Seattle at the major league level. Had an 11-year career. Lefty James Russell is up and loosening in the bullpen for the Cubs. And the Reds are back to the top of the order in Drew Stubbs. So a productive pinch hit from Chris Heisey. He's done that a lot over the last couple of years.
Boy, no kidding.
Boy. Xavier Paul has been immense from the left side, filling a big hole that the Reds had early in the year. And Heisey's always been solid from the right side. Well, here's Stubbs. Popped up, grounded out, 0 for 2. He runs into one here. We got a new ball game. Here's the strike one delivery. Crowds him, and it's 1-1.
And that's that coming inside for effect. Basically the same pitch routine that he went through with Mesoraco. Backdoor breaking ball in, now go back away.
That's a strike, 1-2.
Change up right down Broadway.
Drew faced Raley 3 times in Chicago last week, was 0 for 3, and is 0 for 2 so far tonight. Roland reached on a walk. He's at second. Heisey with his hit is down at first. Ooh.
Backdoor breaking ball.
Stubbs saying that can't be a strike. Take a look. See what Fox Track says.
Touches the black, it's usually a strike. Tell you, that's too close to take in my book. Especially when he started you with that same pitch.
Well, here's Valdez, lined out, struck out, 0 for 2. Well, got to get them all back in 1 inning. The Reds have 1 so far. They'd like to pick up 1 or 2 more here. Valdez swinging out of his shoes, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, that's kind of uncharacteristic for Valdez. He has made 2 passes at the ball, and both of them have been out of the strike zone.
And the third, Valbuena has it. And they just do get it there in time. Boy, did Heisey put the pressure on.
He was hustling, as always.
Raley dodges a big bullet, allows a run. Reds still trail 5-2. TV today to see every Reds out-of-market game live online and on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit Reds.com to order and get more details. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere.
New pitcher for the Reds, Sam LeCure. This will be his 34th ball game, 3-2 with a 3.02 earned run average.
Sudden Sam's back. Talked about some of those bullpenners in middle relief getting a little extra time. LeCure one of them. His numbers: 41 innings, an ERA of right around 3. He's been so instrumental over the last couple of years. Since making his major league debut in 2010, he's become a valuable part of this bullpen. He'll face Anthony Rizzo to lead it off here in the 6th. Rizzo struck out, flied out, and singled to right to knock in a run that made it 2-1. That was the go-ahead run in the 4th inning. Todd Redmond went 3 1/3, 7 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned, 5 walks, 1 strikeout, and a home run. Two 2-0. Down Broadway for a strike.
It has been at least a week and a day since LeCure has been on the mound. Been on the mend for part of that time. A little shoulder tightness.
Slice to the left side, but out of play, and it's 2-2.
That pitch inside to the left-handers is his money pitch. He wants to start it right at their hands and sink it and run it right back over the inside corner. It's also a dangerous pitch as well.
And you get to the middle of the month of August, and it almost doesn't even make sense to ask a pitcher how you feeling, or anybody how you feeling, because Cowboy, did you ever go through a season when you weren't barking by this time of the year?
Never. There were some seasons I was barking in April. Just give me the ball.
2-2. The key as you become a veteran is to know the difference between being hurt and being tired.
Right. Just everybody is going to be uncomfortable. It's just part of the game. It's part of playing sports. But you learn how to perform. You learn how to do your job being less than 100%.
More than anything is what amazed me about the former Cub Ron Santo in his career. Deservedly so, he joined Barry Larkin in the Hall of Fame this year. And for a man who put up Hall of Fame numbers as it was as a player, but to do that when he's struggled with diabetes, when he had to inject himself with insulin every day, playing day baseball in Chicago. That's a bouncer. Off the glove of Frazier into right. And Rizzo will be on.
That's one of those plays there that got Todd Frazier, because he's on the other side of the infield rather than the third base side. You saw his first break was in, and that's normally what you do when you're at third base. You move towards the ball. At first base, you got to get that big hop because you have a ton of time.
An error on Frazier. Second error for the Reds, the first committed by Redmond, the pitcher. Part of the 4th inning. And the Cubs rallied to take the lead with 3 runs. And here's Castro. Castro made Redmond pay with a double back in the fourth. He's 2 for 3. Missing 1-1.
Castro stands in that box, and he's got the hit switch on until the very last second, and then he turns it off, or he keeps it on and comes right on through with a swing. But he's thinking hit all the way.
There's your 1-1.
I think that's one of the things that makes this kid such a good hitter is not only does he hit strikes, he hits mistakes. And you usually don't do both.
Down the right field line, curving. It is a fair ball. That's going to probably get a run in. They're going to send him around third as it kicks away from Bruce, and it will easily get a run in. It rattled around in the corner, got away from Jay, so that the Reds' run that they got back last inning given right back. 10 hits now for the Cubs, and it'll go as a 3-base hit. So Castro a single, a double, and a triple today.
Fastball, just left it up in the zone, and it ran back to the bat. Castro for a moment thought it was going to slice foul. That ball came off the wall and just went right between the legs of Jay Bruce. You don't see that very much.
So still nobody out. The Reds will bring the corners of the infield in, even with the bag, and halfway middle of the infield, and doesn't make any difference. That's a base hit into right, and that'll get another run in. So it's 7-2 Chicago as LeCure picks up a run batted in. Reached on a fielder's choice and scored a run last time up. It's his second run batted into the ball game, and it's 7-2 Chicago. Seven runs, 11 hits now for the Cubs, while Raley has held the Reds to 2 runs on 3 hits. Here's Clevenger. Bounced out, walked, and bounced into a double play. It's a strike, and it's 1-2.
I think Clevenger thought that ball was down, but that ball started on the inside corner and ran right back to split the plate in half. Same pitch.
Good spot. first strikeout for LeCure.
This is Sam's best pitch to a left-hander. Starts in off the plate. Starts it right at that front knee, front hip. Runs it right back over the corner. Strike 2 and strike 3.
2 away, and here comes Jackson. Brett leading off to second. Clubbed his first major league home run. That gave the Cubs an early 1-0 lead. And struck out his last 2 times up.
Well, that's the first time in either series, the series in Chicago or this series, that we've seen Jackson show bunt at any point in time. And now Rolen has moved in on the grass at third base.
Big swing back in the second, one that he'll remember for a long time. Good news for the Cubs. It was in the bullpen, so they were able to retrieve that one for him.
Don't forget that first one.
1-1. Slap foul the other way, a ball and 2 strikes.
Problem with this guy batting down in the order, it's almost impossible to double up. The guy can fly.
Down low, ball 2, 2 balls, 2 strikes. After being out for a week, Sam trying to get his feet back under him here in this 6th inning. First appearance in a while. And that'll be foul and out of play as well. Different players on this Cubs team and started this season, so it has a different look, and it's a younger look that figures to continue next year with the likes of Jackson and Bitters, and you see Cardenas in this lineup, Clevenger, LeCure, Rizzo, Valbuena, and that parade should continue into 2013. Corner for a strike. Back-to-back strikeouts for Sam LeCure. 2 outs in the inning.
Well, that ball stayed right there. As a catcher, as long as you don't let that ball get above the mask, more times than not, you're going to get that call.
Here's Cardenas, who popped up twice and started the rally in the 5th with a 1-out base hit. And running from first with 2 outs, he scored on the double by Valbuena. I
would imagine if you're Dell Swaim, it's probably nice to play doubleheaders to get as many looks at your young players as you can.
Runner going. Stole that one on the pitcher.
That's the second time that we've seen Brian LeCure steal a base. And they're stealing it on the pitcher.
Numbers 3 and 4 for LeCure today. Different coaches bring different things to the table, and for the Cubs, and for that matter for the Cardinals and the Oakland A's before that, Dave McKay, he's got that stopwatch in his hand. He will time a pitcher, pitch after pitch, and it may not be in the first at bat, but second or third at bat, he'll know exactly where someone is, and when he gets the combination that he wants, he'll put on the steal sign. There's a fly ball into the alley. That's going to get another run in. Trotting home is LeCure. And Cardenas has his second hit, a double to left center field, and it's now 8-2 Cubs.
Now how big is the stolen base? Especially when it's Brian LeCure that's stealing the base. That is not known at all for his speed, but he steals it because of exactly what you were talking about, timing by the first base coach Dave McKay, and a little bit of guile from the young man as well.
So after having Raley on the ropes in the last half inning, he wriggled his way out of that, and all of a sudden a 3 spot on the board, and from 5-2, it's now an 8-2 Cub lead. And here comes Brooks Raley to bat again. I mean, you may have been within one batter of getting Raley out of the game last inning.
Oh yeah, there was no doubt about it.
No balls, 2 strikes. 7th batter of the inning for the Cubs.
But this is what we were talking about, George. It's feast or famine out of the bullpen, especially when you've got a starting rotation that's gone as deep into the ball games as the Reds rotation has throughout this year.
There's your strikeout. The good news is Sam LeCure strikes out the side. The bad news is a triple, a single, a double, and an error. 3 score. It's 8-2 Cubs.
Pre-game. You'll get the lineups before anyone else, in-depth features, and so much more. It's Reds Live, presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. Jim Day with you. I hope you join myself and Jeff Pecoro for that. Reds losing big time right now. Perhaps a little bit of good news that we can throw in as Billy Hamilton at AA continues his role stealing bases. First time up tonight after an hour rain delay. Infield single, calmly stole second base. So he has 143 steals on the season. He's too shy of tying Vince Coleman's record of 145 set in 1983. 3 shy of setting the all-time minor league mark for stolen bases. Billy Hamilton at it again. And boys, I have a feeling this is going to be the many thousands of steals if he stays healthy.
You're right. He's got that little bit of extra. And Cowboy, I think we were talking about it yesterday. The record maybe could have fallen yesterday or today, but after today they head home. That record probably will be in his back pocket before the home folks in Pensacola.
Well, there won't be any bunting him from second to third again at home. He'll be stealing that base.
Here's Brandon Phillips to lead it off in the 6th. Flied out, lined out 0 for 2. What kind of a weapon could he be for the Reds in September coming off the bench?
Well, speed obviously at any point in time I think is a tremendous asset. The issue is, when can you use him? And more than anything else, it would have to be late in the game when you needed a stolen base, or you're in a tight ball game where you need 1 run either to tie or to win the game.
Phillips, left field, going back towards the corner, reaching out, won't get there in time. Will be the left fielder, Joe Mather, so it'll be a 2-base hit for Brandon. Now the Reds have the leadoff hitter on with a double here in the 6th.
Like Phillips caught that one off the end of the bat again.
Good swing for Brandon, safe at second, safe and secure.
New York line.
Well, a rough couple of days for Brandon. That ends in 0 for 11 skiing, and here comes Ryan. Ludwick homered back in the 2nd and walked in the 4th. The homer is 24th of the year. The run batted in is 67th. Here's a look at his Joe, Cowboy.
Oh, got it down and in. Bad flip. Let me truck on around the bases. You got to be awfully careful with him on the first pitch.
A year ago, Ludwick struggled in San Diego, ended the year in Pittsburgh, had physical problems, had a battle a big ballpark in San Diego as well. And now he's put himself right in the mix of comeback player of the year in the National League. And there's been some talk about the Reds. There is an option for next year. The Reds have an option. And the question is, should it be picked up? That is a mutual option. So that's really not going to be decided until the year is over.
That is correct.
And with numbers like he's putting up, you figure he'll look for not a 1-year deal, but a multi-year deal, which may be his last big contract.
Right. And he wants to play here. He likes playing for the Reds. And just like it was for me, I always wanted to play for the Reds, and that's exactly his thought process. I think he'd like to stay here.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Long way to go between now and then, and that's something to be dealt with when the season's over. But
just talk about it and see if you can get it worked out.
There is no doubt that he has been an instrumental part of this second half surge for the Reds. One and two. Down to third, through the legs. Rolling down the line, they're going to hold Phillips. Brandon had to hold up with nobody out. He couldn't run into an out, so once he started it up again, no chance to score, and down where the Reds are, no chance of taking a chance.
Right through the wickets.
So Valbuena commits the miscue, and the Reds have first and third. No one out, and here comes Frazier. Tied 0 for 2 tonight. Flied out, struck out. First game of the doubleheader, another productive game for Frazier. Singled and scored on the homer by Xavier Paul in the second inning. Homered in the fourth, and his sacrifice fly in the eighth was a big hit. That's a base hit. That'll get a run in. 54 runs batted in for Todd Frazier, and the Reds are starting to claw their way back in it again. Three Cubs.
I just don't think that there is any point in time that you're going to see this Reds club just lay down and take an 8-2, 8-3 beating from anybody.
Here comes Jay. Bruce popped up and singled his last time up, 1 for 2.
It's like Manny
Corpus up again.
Again in the bullpen. Everyday Eddie down there.
2 on, nobody out. Bruce high in the air. Infield fly rule called. Jays retired. Runners will hold their bases. The first out of the inning, and here comes Rolling. That may be the last batter for this lefty. Yep, here comes Dale Swaim out. Let him face the left-hander Bruce, and they'll bring in Corpus to face Rolling. So Raley gives Dale Swaim what he wanted. 5+ innings. He'll exit with an 8-3 lead, and the Reds threatening while the pitching change takes place. We'll take time out for these messages. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. won 8 of 11. And in those games, the Cubs have committed 19 errors, allowed 9 unearned runs. And the Reds are trying to come back thanks to an error in this inning. Here's Corpus facing Rolen.
Manny Corpus, a 3.56 earned run average. This is his 32nd ball game. And he will try to hold the fort.
2 on, 1 out. Corpus pitched in the first game, had a 1-2-3-7. Struck out Cozart, struck out Heisey, and got Phillips to fly out. Rolling 0 for 1 against him in their previous matchups. Listen down and away. Scott fly to center first time up, and then walked on 4 straight pitches in the 5th. The Reds had Raley on the ropes in the 5th, a single, a walk. Mesoraco hit a line drive to right. Redmond spot in the order with Heisey pinch hitting. He drilled a base hit to get the Reds within 3, 5-2. But then a strikeout and a fielder's choice ended the Reds' rally in the 5th. 3-1. A number that's been in favor of the Reds all season, and it's been a bugaboo for the Cubs, Cowboy.
Well, that's the reason that the Reds have one of the best bullpens in the game, because they continue to pick each other up when runners are aboard. The next reliever in line keeps the guys runners from scoring that he takes over for. It's been that way all year long.
I mean, fans look at a lot of different statistics. Bullpen teammates look at first batter retired and inherited runners.
You got it.
That's your pride, right?
You got it.
3-2. Drill to left, hooking. It is a fair ball. One's going to score. Can they get the second one in? Frazier will stop at third, and it'll be second and third with a double. Ludwick scampered home. Frazier stops at third.
Hanging breaking ball. Rolen does a pretty good job staying inside this ball enough to keep it fair. If he really spins and turns the head on that ball's over the third base dugout.
Now, we talked about it yesterday, and that number, a big one, is 512th career double. That broke his tie with Mark Grace for 47th on the all-time list. And it's now a 4-run deficit for the Reds with second and third and still only 1 out. His 12th double this season. 29 runs batted in for him as well.
Patience, 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 my friend.
Xavier Paul moves into the on-deck circle with Mesoraco, the number 8 hitter, at the plate. Down to third. They'll hold the runner and get the out, second out of the inning. So here comes Paul. Xavier's been the Reds' best pinch hitter overall, and certainly their best pinch hitter from the left side. He got a start in game 1, and in his first at bat after Frazier singled, he ripped his first homer of the year to tie the game at 2. Here's a look at it, Cowboy.
2-0. Got a fastball right down Broadway, and he knew it when he hit it. He doesn't have to have a home run right here. Just needs a base hit. Get the Reds right back in this thing.
Frazier off third, rolling off second. Missing on the outside corner. Reds trail 1-0. Tied it at 1. Trail 4-1. Then 5-1. Made it 5-2. There's a bouncer down to Rizzo. And he'll get the final out. The Reds will strand a pair. They inch their way back with a couple. It's an 8-4 game. And Duncan Outen bring you all the action on the pitch at 9. That's on the home of Columbus Crew Soccer, Fox Sports Ohio. Tomorrow at 9. Wrap up of this series tomorrow afternoon right here on Fox Sports Ohio. The Reds against the Cubs. Matt Latos against Chris Volstead. Reds live 12:30 with Jim Day, Jeff Pecoro. Here's Sean Marshall, who'll take over as we head to the top of the 7th inning and the top of the order comes up. Marshall, 54th game. Earned run average, a brilliant 2.82. Started off as the closer, moving into that role when Ryan Madsen went down in spring training. He's been a key component, and now with Aroldis Chapman taking over as the closer, he's become a outstanding 7th and 8th inning contributor, and at times when needed a lefty-lefty matchup specialist. Showing bunt is Valbuena. He runs through it. No balls, 2 strikes. He'll argue that he pulled the bat back. Won't win the conversation with Mike Everett.
He's not winning that argument. He's not going to win this curveball he's fixing to get either. Good night. Fastball on there.
Boy, talk about mechanics that he's refined after watching him from when he first came up. As a Cub, by the way, his mechanics have been just perfect. He locates into lefties and down and away to lefties.
Talking about Sean Marshall.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Reds acquired him from the Cubs, the Travis Wood deal. Brandon has it. Mather retired, 2 away.
Well, one thing that I really noticed about Sean Marshall over the last 4 or 5 years, and really ever since his first couple of years when they transitioned him from trying to make him a starter into the bullpen, is he's very quiet with his body on the mound before he delivers the baseball. You can't tell whether he's throwing fastball, curveball, changeup, slider. I mean, just nice and easy, same arm slot every time. And the ball gets on you in a hurry.
Their mechanics are completely different, and one's a right-hander, one's a left-hander. Here's Anthony Rizzo, struck out, flied out, singled, and reached on an error. But when you look at where Aaron Harang was when the Reds first got him and where this guy was when he first came up, they were all over the place. Arms, shoulders, legs, big, tall guys. And both of them, on their own, really worked hard to shorten those mechanics and become effective.
Well,
wow, what an inning.
Pretty solid.
1, 2, 3. Can the Reds gain some momentum from that? Reds, and they take on the Redbirds at Great American Ballpark. Stick around after the game for a Barry Blast fireworks show featuring a soundtrack from Barry's historic career, presented by CBG. Your Reds are on a mission to take the Central. You can see it all live. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or Reds.com today. Great to have you with us. Game 2 of this day-night doubleheader. Drew Stubbs drills this one, but fouled on the left field line. It's 0-2. Great crowd on hand. Sellout tonight and another sellout tomorrow afternoon. Tonight, the 12th sellout of the season, 41,236 at Great American Ballpark. Seen the Reds win Game 1 behind a brilliant pitching performance from Johnny Cueto. 8 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 8 strikeouts, no walks. Cueto was dandy in a 5-3 victory. Aroldis Chapman gave up a run in the 9th, but closed it out. That's a single into center. So the Reds once again have the leadoff hitter on. 3rd straight inning. They've got the leadoff hitter on.
The object is to get Stubbs across the plate.
So Drew's on. Here comes Valdez. Wilson lined out, struck out, and bounced into a fielder's choice. Hey, Reds fans, August National Sandwich Month, so celebrate it with JTM's quick and delicious meatball sub kits. Pick up a bag today. That's JTM.
Reds are 43-5 when Stubbs scores. He's at first right now.
Swing and a miss by Valdez. Boy, look at all the room he's got on the right side. He just pushes a bunt that way, and he can walk to first. You can get it past Corpus. deep double play depth for the second baseman Cardenas.
And the toughest play here would be for Rizzo at first base. He would be the one that would be charging to get it if there was a push bunt situation to the right side, and he would have to go to second base. You're not going to get Drew Stubbs.
Too late now. 0-2. That misses inside. Wilson steps out, peeks down at Mark Berry, or rolls through a sign or two for him. 8 runs, 12 hits for the Cubs. 4 runs, 7 hits for the Reds. Cubs have left 10 on. Reds have stranded 5. Down and in.
This is an at bat, especially in that number 2 hole, where you're trying to get on base. Whatever you have to do, bunt, throw that elbow out there, whatever it is. We've seen it happen.
Bounced a high hopper. Castro has it, but not in time to first. That second high hop was the only benefit that Valdez got out of that.
Well, that and having Stubbs right on top of Castro as he made the throw to first base. He had to jump in the air over Drew Stubbs, sliding in right on top of him. And it really took a lot off the throw. The ball bounced into first base. The old bang bang play at first.
Here's Brandon. Flied out, lined out, and double to left. That's where they've been this whole series. Setting up away. This one drifts inside, looped, but Cardenas will be there. Brandon looked like he might have had a pitch he could do something with there. So 2 away. And here comes Ludwick.
Well, as you know, George, the old backup slider sometimes is the best pitch in baseball, because the hitter thinks it's going to move out over the center of the plate, as Brandon did there. You could see the swing and his eyes light up like, I'm fixing to kill this ball. And the ball goes in towards the bat instead of floating out over the plate.
Sometimes good pitchers give you bad results, and bad pitches give you good results as a pitcher. Here's Ryan. Ludwick homered, walked, and reached on an error. Strike 1. Center field, pretty good. Looking up at the wall, going to be gone. A 2-home run game one more time. Ryan Ludwick. He sensed that. They went away, and he went right after him. Right center field around tripper. Numbers 24 and 25 on the season today for Ludwick.
George, I've seen a lot of hot guys in my life, but right now I don't want to get anywhere near Ryan Ludwick, because I might catch on fire. He is smoking.
A rocket shot to right center, and the Reds are within 2, 8-6. 16th time in his career, a multi-homer game for the big left fielder. As Yogi said, never over till it's over. 8-6.
Now this is really where the Reds needed to get, especially with this Cubs bullpen on the back end having such a big question mark in the closing department. You never know when Marmol comes into the ball game whether he's going to throw strikes, balls, or what.
Frazier flied out, struck out, and singled. His base hit back in the 6th got the Reds' 3rd run on the board. Todd had a homer and a single in game 1 of the series. Game 1 today. And a sacrifice fly as well. 4 multi-homer games this year, 16 for his career for Ryan Ludwick.
If you're a pitcher, you don't know where to throw him, whether in or out. Because if he's looking in the right spot, he's going to do some damage.
Full count. Got him. Frazier retired, but they sure didn't retire Ludwick. Back in his 2nd, he tied the game at 1 with his 24th homer of the year off their lefty Raley. Here in the 7th, this one gets the Reds to within 2. 25 homers on the year. Up for us by Matt Sigafus. Great to have you with us. George Grand, Chris Welsh is
I'm
over
not
on radio.
Chris.
No, I'm saying is over on radio.
Oh, you better not slip up.
Chris Welsh is over on radio, and the Cowboys with us today. And we've had some fun the last couple of days, haven't we?
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
Josh Hall's down in the truck as our producer. Roy Alfer's our director. Alan Layton is our Major Domo, dialing up some graphic help for us today. Siggy's dialing up some highlights. Kent Dreamweaver, of course, as usual, in charge of pre and post game activities on this double dip day. Anthony DeMarco, our TD. That's foul to the right side. Great to have our great camera crew, and what a day for everybody in the truck and around the ballpark.
It's been some work,
man. Tom Seaver, Johnny Tomer. Sammy's with us today. Sam Torrey. Strick's up here. Jim Strickler. Wake up, Strick. Strick, wake up.
He's all right.
Okay.
He's all right. I got him.
Amy Bailey, Jack Leiter, Justin Rowan. JK's even working on this double dip day. JK Smith. And audio, Jim Krob and Dickie Moss. Freddie Englehart and John Heeman. Great to have everybody with us up here, of course. Jesse Jackson,
Yes, sir.
And Joel Luckup back with us again for this double dip day.
Now the object, George, is hold the fort. You got to hold them right here and keep those bats hot.
Helps when you get deliveries like that, huh?
Well, he's now struck out 3 of his last 4. Keep right on rolling, Sean. Keep right on rolling. Pitch against your old team. There's a little edge there. A little bit of edge.
1 away. And here comes the lefty Brian LeCure. You know, when you load up the lineup with lefties, why not leave him in for another inning?
Yeah.
LeCure and Clevenger up with 1 away. Well, good pitching can sure start to turn a game around, can it?
Oh, boy. Well, when you stop the other side from scoring, especially with this ball club and as confident as they have been lately, and you start edging and you're getting closer and closer, and this crowd gets louder and louder the closer you get. Tell you what, you buy a ticket, you come to this ballpark, you don't realize how much a difference you make for these guys on the field.
Mike Leake said it as best as you could. He said, when I got that standing ovation the other day, he said, I don't know, it stopped me in my tracks. He said, sometimes fans don't really understand how much it affects us and means to us as players. 1 ball, 1 strike. By the way,
this is what you call being buckled by a curveball.
look out. That's a strike.
Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike.
And twice in a row.
Make it 2. By the way, Cowboy, let's say thanks to Jeff LeCure again, too.
Oh, no doubt. LeCure made sure that we got fed in between ball games, and as far as I'm concerned, that's the bottom line.
No, the bottom line, John Browdy, how many pieces of pizza? Put that in the Fox box. Did the crew eat today? A new Great American Ballpark record.
We have about 50 of those bad boys up here and down there.
Amen. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Marshall delivers. Got him!
Oh, Billy.
If this game turns around, number 51 started it. 2 brilliant innings from Sean Marshall. The Reds rallied last inning. Can they add on today? Business Systems Conference Center is the perfect spot to conduct your business here in the Queen City. Located on the club level at Great American Ballpark, the center can handle all your meeting, audio, visual, and catering needs year-round. Contact the Red Special Events Department today at 513-765-7118. Darwin Barney will enter the game at second base. Changes for the Cubs. Barney, he played in game 1 of this series, had the bulk of game 2 off, but he comes in here in the 8th inning. David DeJesus comes in right field. Solid defender. And here's James Russell on the mound, Cowboy.
James Russell, left-hander. 5-1 on the year with a 3.48 earned run average. This will be his 59th appearance. He came in the same situation in the 8th inning in Chicago, and the Reds put a 3 spot on him to win the ball game. It was 2-1 when he came into the game. The Reds won 4-2.
There's Jay Bruce. Popped up, singled, and popped out. No balls, 2 strikes. Six outs left for the Reds to do some work. 8 runs, 12 hits, an error, and 10 left on for the Cubs. 6 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors, and 5 left on for Cincinnati. And again, if you joined us late, Johnny Cueto brilliant in game number 1 this afternoon of the day-night doubleheader. 8 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 8 strikeouts, no walks. Back and out of play. Aroldis Chapman got a save in the 9th inning, although he did allow a run. And the Reds won at 5-3, beating Jeff Samardzija. Spoils another pretty good pitch, foul back, and the Cat will hold at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
They played Jay Bruce straight up in the outfield and dead pull hitter on the ground in the infield. Go figure.
Tried to sneak that win up in the strike zone, and he just did get a piece of it. That's a base hit in the right. Even though they were pulled that way, he snuck it between Rizzo and Barney, and the Reds had the tying run coming to the plate in the 8th.
Well, Rizzo for a moment appeared as though he was going to have a play on that ball, and not really. Ball was hit too hard for him to even get in front of the baseball. Hanging breaking ball, and Jay hammered it right by him.
Well, the lefty in to face the lefty, and that'll be it. He does not get Bruce, so out will come Dale Swain. They'll go back to the bullpen. We'll be back with more after these messages. You're watching Reds Baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. Jeff Pecora will keep you up to date on what's happening. You'll hear from the players and Dusty before anybody else, and you'll get a complete recapitulation after today's game of not one but two games. Red Live brought to you by Kings Honda and the Kings Auto Mall. Visit KingsHondaUSA.com.
People do not understand that word. Sean Camp, right-hander, new pitcher for the Cubbies. Can he hold the Reds? 3-5 with a 3.66. Appearance number 60 for the 36-year-old right-hander. Good luck.
Here comes Scott Rowland, who is 2 for 3 and a home run against him in his career. We showed you the numbers for the Cubs coming in their bullpen, the discrepancy between these two teams, including inherited runners. Well, that inherited runner down there represents the tying run. The guy at the plate represents the tying run as the second run. So between Bruce and Rowland, you got the tying run now to the plate. Strike one for the Reds' third baseman. Camp does have a quick, compact motion to the plate, not easy to run on.
Well, he gets on top of the ball quickly and really gets that downward action on the breaking ball.
That's a strike, and it's 0-2. Scott's last at bat a double. 512. That passed Mark Grace for 47th on the all-time list. Edgar Martinez next at 514. He got it. That's the slider you talked about.
Yep. It is short and quick and late. You're looking for a fastball to come back to the plate, and you get that one. That's a tough one.
Here's the catcher, Devin Mesoraco. Mesoraco 1 for 2 against Camp in that series last week in New York, in Chicago rather. This hit pretty good towards the alley, but over there to close fast is Jackson. Good break and good speed, and that snuffed that one out from heading to the alley. And that'll bring up Miguel Cairo. Earlier today, if you weren't with us, game number 1, his first homer of the year. Cairo drilled one down the left field line, stuck it in by the pole. That gave the Reds a 4-2 lead in the 4th inning. And boy, did he get the celebratory handshakes when he got to the dugout.
Well, right now, I can assure you that Cairo knows that there is a monster hole on the right side of the infield, especially with a breaking ball pitcher on the mound.
Cairo hitting for Sean Marshall, 2 innings, 4 strikeouts. You could not have asked for more from Sean Marshall.
No doubt about it. He basically took the momentum away from the Cubs and swung it in the Reds' favor. But if you're Sean Camp, you're not going to give Cairo anything inside to pull. Everything is going to be right out there. And with that much room on the right side of the infield, that's exactly where Cairo is going to try to shoot the ball. You can see where the second baseman is here, first baseman there, and you got all this room in here to hit the baseball too.
That's to right. If it's fair, it's trouble. It is fair. Here comes Bruce around third. They're going to send him. The throw will not come to the plate. All the way to third with a triple is Cairo, and the Reds are within 1. hard hitter, good swing, and good result. You diagrammed it perfect, Cowboy.
Well, you can talk about it all day long, but doing it is a whole different scenario. He gets back-to-back fastballs in the same spot, and this is Cairo's day. He doesn't hit a ground ball there. He hits a triple all the way down the line with no play at third base. And now Drew Stubbs in an awfully big spot for this club.
41,236. Finally got something to stretch and cheer about as the Reds have clawed their way back to within 1-8-7. Here's Stubbs facing Camp. That's way wide. Drew today popped out, grounded out, struck out, and singled.
Tying run 90 feet away.
Stubbs has faced Camp twice. He's 0 for 2 against him. Heck of a day for Cairo. Good defensive play earlier, his first homer, and then this key triple. 2-0.
He's going to feed you that breaking ball non-stop. Fastball for show, breaking ball for dough.
And a 2-0 slider swinging and missing for strike one. Camp knocks it down, and he'll get it there. The Reds strand a runner, but they're getting closer. 8-7. Going to the ninth. Not over yet. By Cincinnati Children's, ranking 3rd of the nation again in the United States News and World Report's 2012 Best Children's Hospitals, and by the dependable, long-lasting Chevy Silverado and your tri-state Chevy dealers. Time to say hi to the dancing dog, our John Morrell hot dog play of the game. A memorable day for Brett Jackson, the youngster, his first career Major League home run. It was a rocket shot to lead off the second. Figure there'll be a few of those. That gave the Cubs an early 1-0 lead, and it's been a seesaw affair ever since. The Reds trailed by as many as 5, and they battled back to within 1. 8 runs, 12 hits, and an error. The Reds 7 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors on the day. And here comes Logan Ondrusek to try to keep it right where it is.
Ondrusek will come on for the 52nd time. 43 and a third innings pitched. He struck out 30. His ERA is 3.12, a 3-2 record.
Redmond started 3 1/3, 7 hits and 4 runs allowed. Swing and a high fly ball into short center. Here comes Stubbs. Drew is there, got it, one away, and Brett Jackson is retired. Simon pitched an inning and 2/3, 2 hits and a run. LeCure pitched an inning, allowed 3 hits and 3 runs. Marshall 2 perfect innings, 2 hits and 2 innings and 4 strikeouts. And here's Andrusic. Well, Jackson's retired for the first out of the ninth. And here's Darwin Barney hitting in the number 8 spot. Barney came in defensively last inning. David DeJesus hitting in the 9th spot, due up next for his first at bat. Another fly ball to center. This will stay in the park. David led off in the first game and was hit by a pitch in inning number 1 and scored on Alfonso Soriano's home run. For Soriano in game 1, his 22nd homer and also the 1,000th run batted in of his long career. After that day, Jesus was 0 for 3.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of offensive action for the Cubs after that.
If you just joined us and didn't see game number 1, Cowboys said it in the first inning, even before that home run. He said Johnny had some pretty good stuff on this day, and that might have been the only mistake that he made all day.
As far as I could tell.
In command, 11-0 in daytime baseball for Cueto. That was his 16th win of the season. 2-1. Johnny be good.
It's amazing the velocity that Andrusic gets out of the windup and the differential between that and when he's throwing out of the stretch. I mean, he's hit 98 out of the windup, and normally out of the stretch it's tops at 94, 93.
Joey Votto, all he can do is sit and watch. You know, he's itching to get back. Won't be back any day soon right now. Uh-oh, this one hit to right. Bruce going over. Does he have room? It will be gone. Well, DeJesus gives the Cubs a little breathing room. It's 9-7 now. 5th home run of the season for DeJesus.
A fastball right in the heart of the plate. Don't believe that's where he wanted that.
Back to the top of the order, Luis Valbuena. Loop to left. It'll be in the seats and out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes for the leadoff hitter Valbuena, who singled, walked, and scored a run. walked again, doubled and struck out. Reds have some work to do, though. They trail by 2. Marmol's coming in. Phillips due up second. Ludwick due up third. Can they rally again? Last time the Reds were down by 6 runs in a ball game and they came back, it was against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Cowboy Brandon Phillips had a big hand in that rally. The Reds came from 6 down. They eventually won the ball game, and at one point today they were down by 6 and they're trying to do it. They're within 2 right now. Miller time. We've seen this matchup before. That was July 19th against Arizona. Back in the 6th they were down 8-2. Phillips will hit second. Ludwick third. Wilson Valdez will lead it off, and he can be very, very good. He can be very, very wild. Carlos Marmol.
Well, that's the thing about the pitcher that's on the mound, George. You just don't ever know what Marmol is going to bring to the table. You see the numbers there: 47 strikeouts and 34 walks in 37 innings. I mean, he has almost walked and the batter an inning, and he's the closer for this club.
Now, if you're Valdez, you just have to take and take and take until you see at least a strike.
You're right.
And maybe take 2.
Maybe 2, because your run doesn't matter.
Wilson batting second today, lined out, struck out, reached on a fielder's choice, and struck out, and bounced out rather.
The ball almost fell out of the hand of Carlos Marmol as he started to deliver the ball to home plate.
It's like his right foot slipped. He doesn't straddle the rubber. He's almost on top of the rubber.
I think that's exactly what Valdez is doing. He is going to take until he gets 2 strikes. And if that's what he has in mind, then tell you what, he's doing the right thing.
2-1. 3-1.
Because we've seen this act before, George.
Many times. 3 balls, 1 strike. Reds trying to get the tying run of the plate here in the 9th. Swinging 3-1. Will go full 3-2.
And that was a strike either way.
Through all of his problems, he has passed the 100 save mark. That was against the Mets earlier this year. He has saved 14 of 16, and when he's gotten into trouble, it's usually been walks that have started it. Oh, they're calling strike 3. Valdez said it can't be to Mike Everett.
Bad call.
Valdez eye below the strike zone.
Wow.
Fox tracks at the edge.
It's where it crosses the front part of the plate.
First out of the 9th inning.
Tough break right there.
Here's Brandon against Marmol. Phillips in his career has struggled. 2 for 23, 087. Ludwick on deck. That's a strike. Carlos last appeared three days ago against the Astros. Struck out 2 in an inning's worth of work and allowed a hit. Picked up his last save against the Reds last week in Chicago. 2 balls, 1 strike. That'll sneak its way into center. A base hit for Brandon. So Phillips gets his 2nd hit of the night. 2 for 5. He represents one of the 2 runs the Reds need to prolong this one. And here comes Ludwick. What a day Ludwick has had. Back in the 2nd. Our Nissan drives of the day. He tied the game at 1 with his 24th homer. Then in the 7th, his 25th homer brought the Reds to within 2, 8-6. 2 bullets from Ludwick. Numbers 24 and 25. 4th time this year, 2 homers in a game. 16th time in his career. Facing Carlos is 4 for 15 and no home runs. Todd Frazier on deck for the Reds. Dale Swaim rebuilding this ball club this year. He's had a lot of standing 9th innings.
Oh, no.
Most on the south side of a victory. He's hoping his lanky right-hander can drive it home here. And the Reds crowd looking to cap off a double dip win.
Well, there's not too many 1, 2, 3 9th inning ball games for Carlos Marmol.
Tried to check it, fouls it off, and it's 2-2. Jackson deep and straight away center. Everyone a step or 2 deep here in the 9th with 1 out and the tying run at the plate.
High heater.
His best fastball of the inning. Up and out of the strike zone for strike 3.
Tough to lay off of, especially from where Marmol throws the ball. That baby looks like it's about belt high right down Broadway, and it ends up around the letters. Tough pitch.
So here comes Todd Frazier. This will be his first meeting against Marmol. Did not face him in Chicago earlier this year. Today, flied out, struck out, singled in the Reds' 3rd run, and then struck out in the 7th. 17 homers, 54 knocked in for the Reds' first baseman. Slider drops in there for a strike, and it's 1-1.
That was a backup slider there. Spinning and looking like almost a changeup going the other way.
Wide, 2-1. We talk about it often, the old adage, keep the line moving. Frazier's job not to necessarily win it here, keep the line moving, get Bruce to the plate.
No doubt.
Three and 1. Jay's on deck. Another slider drops in there, and it's full 3-2. 3-2, 2 away. Phillips will be off and running from first. Rizzo will play behind him.
That's the tough part for Frazier there. Both of those breaking balls were on the inside corner.
Would you throw on 3-1? Do you throw on 3-2? Frazier keeps it alive. This may be a tough play. Here comes your throw. He is out. They got him by a half a step. And Marmol and the Cubs hang on in the 9th inning to take the 3rd game of this 4-game set. The Reds won game 1 of the doubleheader today, and the Cubs 9-13-1 to 7-11-2 for the Reds. Win their first of this series.
The Reds gave themselves every opportunity in the book to win this ball game. And when you come back from an 8-2 deficit, you still have a chance to win it in the 9th. That says something about the character of your club.
Long day of baseball, and when we started it, Cowboy, you said one of the toughest things is to win a doubleheader.
And they almost did it.
And they almost came back to do it. 9-7 final. Coming up next, Reds Live, presented by Kings Honda. Coming up, Jim Day, Jeff Pecoro right around the corner.